What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel, check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak about not just a recent comment that I heard from Byron Scott, right? Byron Scott, uh, ex Los Angeles Lakers, came out a little while ago and said that he didn't think that LeBron James was that he didn't think that LeBron James should was deserving of a statue in Los Angeles for the Lakers, right? And I gotta say that I spoke about this before, and I definitely agree. I don't think that LeBron James is deserving of a statue in Los Angeles. I think because he just didn't win enough. Like with one ring, that's exactly what Byron Scott said. With one ring, LeBron James really didn't qualify for somebody who should have should have a statue in Los Angeles. And I know that a lot of people most people put a lot of emphasis on ring chasing, because Michael Jordan had six, Magic had, I think Magic had five, Kobe had five, Larry Bird had three, and but that's ring chasing to me, in my opinion, is only part of it, right? And so I think that once LeBron James realized he couldn't catch Mike in the rings, he tried to do other things, to pad his stats and make sure he caught him that way. But it was not just about the rings. It's like how Mike got the rings, right? Mike right now, although he is retired from basketball, Mike is still reaping the residuals from all the hard work and dedication he put into basketball. He's reaping it financially, and he's reaping it through the respect that he gets from his peers and the fans. And if LeBron didn't put that same kind of effort in, then he cannot expect to be reaping those rewards, the same kind of rewards, or had the same type of the success that Mike had. And so that's what I think, in my opinion, like what separates Mike from LeBron. Like and that's what makes him not qualified, in my opinion, to be in that GOAT conversation. I think that Mike had that drive throughout his whole career. As fans, fans were able to follow Mike's career through thick and thin, and that made them feel part of it. LeBron James, you really couldn't you fans were not able to follow LeBron James like that because there was no, like, that effort and that passion didn't come through. I'm not going to say it wasn't there, but it didn't come through. People could relate to Michael Jordan because of some of the tribulations. Mike persevered, and people like to see you be able to persevere. Mike, in my opinion, Mike is more relatable, right? You're talking about a guy who is, I think, a guy who is just, he seemed like he was more down to earth. Like I say, he persevered. Everybody has problems, or everybody has obstacles to overcome, and that's what Mike did with the Detroit Pistons. He overcame the obstacles. Uh, Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics, they beat him early in his career. Who else? The Milwaukee Bucks, they had some success against Mike early in his career. But once Mike learned how to win, and not even before we get to the part where Mike learned how to win, or they put people around Mike to help Mike win. Mike never wavered. He never gave up. He always put forth that championship effort. He never shrunk in big moments. And so as a result of that, once Mike got, like Scottie Pippen and all those other guys around who helped him win, then it was on. Then, and the fans rode through all of that with Mike. Not just Chicago. I mean, not just fans in Chicago, but people all around the world just just identified with Mike, and they like that perseverance that Mike had. And that perseverance was not just with Michael Jordan, but it was a sign of basketball. Franchise ball players for the most part in those days, they stayed with their teams. They didn't leave a team seeking rings probably until like maybe later in their career if they realized like, and I want to use what's the guy named Kevin Garnett as an example, and Charles Barkley. I think Charles Barkley and Kevin Garnett gave their teams, Philadelphia and Minnesota, they gave them uh, enough time to try to build around them and see what they can do as far as like getting them the help and the type of teammates that will complete them and be able and help them to challenge for a championship. So Kevin Garnett stayed for a long time in Minnesota. I think almost a decade, close to a decade, he stayed in Minnesota. Then he went to Boston and teamed up with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and won a championship. Charles Barkley stayed probably about the same amount of time, close to a decade in Philly. And then he left Philly and went to Houston and tried to win a championship. But by that time, the guys that he teamed up with was old. He was old, and it just didn't work out for Charles Barkley. But that was basically how they did it back in the days. Like for the most part, these guys stayed with their teams, and that's why people love and appreciate Mike. And it, like I said, it wasn't the rings, but it was how Mike got the rings, how he got to the rings, and you know, that's why I don't think that I agree with Byron Scott. I don't think that LeBron James should have a statue in Los Angeles. I think if anything, he probably should have a statue in Cleveland. I'm not even sure if he should have a statue in Miami, but I do think Cleveland probably would be the best place for LeBron James to have a statue. I think that although he may have like he may not be on great terms with Cleveland and the Cleveland fan base, or maybe not the Cleveland ownership, he may not be on great terms with them. But LeBron did bring them their only championship, so they should mend those fences. LeBron James in Cleveland, they should retire his jersey as a Cleveland Cavalier. Also, they should build him a statue. As far as the Cleveland Cavalier, like they had some great players in Cleveland. I remember Larry Nance when he was with Cleveland, Ron Harper, who else? Mark Price, when he was with Cleveland. And I don't know if any of those guys are worthy of having having a statue built in Cleveland. But I think LeBron James is. And LeBron James just the fact that they want to, and I don't know if LeBron James is talking about having a statue put in there. I don't know how he feel put in Los Angeles. But just the fact that people are bringing LeBron James up and having a statue in Los Angeles, it just shows it's more evidence of how like shortcuts, like he wanted to take shortcuts. He's not entitled. And it was the same thing throughout his career. You have to earn. Like I said, that's why Michael Jordan is reaping the residuals of all the hard work he put in. He's not, Mike never carried himself as someone who was entitled. And LeBron James is not entitled to have a statue in Los Angeles. I think he's earned the right to have a statue in Cleveland because of where Cleveland is, like in the pecking order as far as NBA teams. So any amount of success that Cleveland had because of LeBron James, I think they should celebrate that. But the success that LeBron James brought to Los Angeles is really not worthy of celebration like that because of the high standards and the winning tradition that the Los Angeles Lakers are used to having. LeBron James did not meet that threshold. So that's, in my opinion, that's why LeBron James, through his ring chasing and trying to take shortcuts, I think he really cheated himself and he cheated his fans, like people who really really love the game of basketball, people who love or like LeBron James and his playing style. I think it was just kind of like anticlimactic, like wasn't no climax there. And so that's my take on it. He was chasing rings all this time. When I think if he had a played, if he had a got better and played with some passion, uh, and probably stayed in one place for a long time, I think that would have helped his career and his legacy. But he wanted to chase the rings around, and he went about it all wrong. And so now he found himself in a position where, people are just telling the truth. They're letting their feelings know. They don't think that he's worthy of a statue in Los Angeles, which I agree. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you check out the content. And with that being said, also don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next episode. Peace.